Welcome to Cody in the Cinema. Today I'm discussing my favorite director, Yasujiro Ozu, and one of his most underrated films, and in fact, maybe one of the most underrated films in the Criterion Collection, Good Morning, with the superb cover art of these two young boys being silly, playful, and capturing the spirit of this entire movie. This is a simple story about a couple of kids who eventually stop speaking. Why do they stop speaking? Because they've been scolded by their father. Why have they been scolded by their father? Because they were making fun of adults for all of the small talk, all of the silly greetings like good morning. And so they decide they just won't speak anymore. And you expect the adults to be more mature, more understanding, and they're equally childish. In fact, there's another dispute that happens, and another adult thinks the kids are playing a trick on her because of something else that's happened, something petty. And what we find is that there isn't much of a line between the kids and the adults. This movie is light, it's gentle, it's fun to watch, it's artistic as always with Ozu. And I find this to be like the perfect thing to put on a relaxing Saturday morning while you're doing something like laundry. And I bring up laundry because a washing machine is such a convenience, such a luxury, that there's some question that maybe the person who bought the washing machine stole money that was supposed to go to someone else in town that everyone else pulled together because that person wanted to buy a washing machine. And gossip and consumerism, those are two themes that are kind of always poked at in this film. There's a line in here that too many conveniences are a problem. One of the great sort of dramatic irony scenes that happens in this movie is there's a salesman, a peddler, and he's trying to sell things like pencils and rubber bands, and he's annoying everyone in this very tightly knit community, just door to door. And another person suggests using another small appliance mechanism as a security measure to keep the peddler from selling them these small items. The family of the children who won't speak, they resist buying a television. And the kids sneak off to go watch television. Sumo wrestling, there's talk about Japanese people. Some of the people talk about Japanese people might turn into idiots if they watch too much TV. In some ways, this is a commentary on sitcoms before sitcoms really ever existed. It's Seinfeld before Seinfeld. It's funny because I thought about that show a lot as I watched this, and what was the Seinfeld motto? No hugs, no learning, something like that. Like you might be tempted to watch this and think, what's really beyond the surface, beyond the fart jokes in the movie? But there's so much here dealing with greater human truths, as there always is in an Ozu movie. There's a scene where one of the parents says we should think about retirement, and he stops and he fiddles with something in his hand and ponders. Why? Because he's dealing with the reality of change and moving on. This is common in Ozu films. Maybe it is time to have a television. Maybe it is time to embrace the next generation. Why did I relate to this movie so much? I thought at first, well, I was never like this as a kid. I was never this annoying, this loud, this jealous. And then I remembered one of my friends who had a gateway computer. So there was a time when not everybody just had a computer or the access to the internet. My family had one of those like black and yellow looking screens that you could play. I think we had a copy of some like demented version of Wheel of Fortune. That was the game that we had available. But the friend down the road, they had a gateway computer. And I remember going over there and playing all the neat games and thinking, man, I wish I had that gateway computer. I remember going over there to their place in part just to see the computer, just to see what they had available. And I remember the little exchanges between the parents, the gossip in the small town, and things that they would say while we were infatuated with this computer. And I felt like that dynamic of the small sort of little changes in the world the kids are worrying about and the mundane trivialities of the adults, like that was captured perfectly here. This is a good looking Ozu film. It's more complex than it seems on the surface. And the first few times I tried to watch this, I think I wanted something a little bit more obviously powerful, obviously overflowing with this like thematically film dense stuff. I don't know what I was looking for. But what I found was that I liked the subtlety of this movie and the calm, gentle, quiet way that it reminded me of some lessons I needed to know. Be patient with your neighbors. Be patient with each other. Realize everyone's learning at the same time. Mistakes do happen. Maybe someone forgot to pay someone money. Maybe there's not malice in every little thing and every little interaction. This is a good movie for people to see in a society that continues to be obsessed with self and self-value and growing self-fortune. It's a gentle reminder that life works best when we have a community together and we learn together. It's a great film that I challenge you to watch if you haven't done so far. It's 94 minutes. It's in color. It's a breeze to get through. And it features terrific performances and two great child actors. So those were my thoughts on Good Morning, a movie that I look forward to seeing multiple times, just like any other Ozu movie. And I just love it so much. So what's an Ozu movie that you like that really spoke to you? Or some other movie in the collection maybe that reminds you of this? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this thing a like, interact some with the channel, check out some of my other videos. Again, I thank all of you who tune in and make this thing possible. I just can't imagine a better use of my time than sharing with you my thoughts about this wonderful director and the films he has made and what they add to society and how they can make us better people. We'll see you next time on Cody in the Cinema.